Imagine looking up at the night sky. What you see is only a tiny fraction of what truly exists. Space is not just a dark void filled with stars. It is an endless ocean where every point of light has its own story, age, and even destiny. The universe was born about 13.8 billion years ago in an event known as the Big Bang. It wasn't an explosion in the usual sense. There was no center from which everything spread out. Instead, space itself began to expand, and with it came time, energy, and matter. At first, the universe was incredibly hot and dense. There were no stars or planets, only elementary particles. It took hundreds of millions of years before the first stars began to form. These stars became true factories of elements. Inside them, carbon, oxygen, and iron were created, the very elements that make up you and me. Those first stars were massive and lived very short lives. They exploded as supernovae, scattering matter across space. From this material, new stars, planets, and eventually entire galaxies were formed. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, contains over 100 billion stars. And it is just one of billions of galaxies in the universe. If you think about it, there are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on all the beaches on Earth. But space is fascinating not only because of its scale. It also amazes us with its laws. For example, black holes are regions where gravity is so strong that even light cannot escape. If an object gets too close, it stretches like spaghetti, a phenomenon scientists even call spaghettification. Another interesting fact, there is no sound in space. Sound is made of vibrations that travel through a medium, like air. But in the vacuum of space, there is no medium. So there is complete silence. Temperatures in space are also extreme. In the shade, they can drop to minus 270 degrees Celsius, almost absolute zero. But in direct sunlight, objects can heat up to hundreds of degrees. Humanity has always strived to explore space. In 1961, a human traveled beyond Earth for the first time. That person was Yuri Gagarin. His flight lasted only 108 minutes, but it changed history forever. Later, in 1969, a human first set foot on the moon. It was Neil Armstrong. His words, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," became a symbol of an entire era. Life for astronauts in space is completely different from life on Earth. Because of the lack of gravity, they experience weightlessness. They don't walk, they float. Even a simple action like pouring water becomes a challenge because liquids form floating spheres. Sleeping in space is unusual too. Astronauts sleep in special bags attached to the walls so they don't drift away. They also see 16 sunrises a day because a space station orbits Earth roughly every 90 minutes. Long-term stays in space affect the human body. Muscles weaken and bones lose density. That's why astronauts exercise every day to stay in shape. But space is dangerous not only because of weightlessness. Radiation, micrometeoroids, and extreme temperatures make every mission risky. That's why astronaut training takes years. Despite all the challenges, space exploration continues. Scientists launch telescopes that allow us to look back in time. Light from distant galaxies takes billions of years to reach us. When we observe them, we see them as they were long ago. Modern scientists are also searching for life beyond Earth. Thousands of exoplanets, planets orbiting other stars, have already been discovered. Some of them may have conditions similar to Earth. There is even a hypothesis that life in the universe could be very common. But so far we have no proof. It remains one of humanity's greatest mysteries. Interestingly, you are literally made of space. The atoms in your body were once part of stars. That means each of us is a small piece of the universe capable of understanding itself. The future of space exploration looks even more exciting. Humans are planning to return to the Moon and even travel to Mars. One day, humanity may be interplanetary civilization. But even then, space will remain mysterious. We have explored only a tiny part of it. In fact, about 95% of the universe consists of dark matter and dark energy, things we barely understand. Space reminds us how small we are, but at the same time shows how great our potential can be. Humans, who once only looked at the stars, can now travel toward them. And perhaps the most fascinating thing about space is not only what we already know, but what we have yet to discover. The next time you look up at the night sky, remember this: every star is a story, every galaxy is a world, and the universe is an endless mystery that humanity is only beginning to understand.